You could dish out.
You good on the headphones? Yeah, now I am. Yeah, yeah. Now I am. Thank you.
How we doing, Miss Felicia? You happy? It's on Quezzy. I know where Quezzy need to be.
Oh, yeah.
On this line right
testing,
here.
Testing. Man, financial plan, Quincy Dreams.
Yeah.
Let's go. Is it Love More, the Love More show? Or
It's just love.
it's just
Love
Love?
More, yeah.
Excellent.
I could break down and explain the Love More show.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do.
Come on, Miss Kenya. You getting the high five there.
Oh, hi. Sorry. It's the Anything Can Happen show on
Gotcha.
the radio. Whoa, on the radio. Whoa, down. Don't it trying to strike you sad when you hear our song?
Hey,
All right, we need quiet in the studio so I can do the introduction for the show.
Let's do it.
You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Kenya Asa, Quezzy Dreams, and your man Kev Fitness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, we got a Bay Area legend in the building. Legendary.
Okay.
The man with the plan. Nah, this man, like he gets indoors that the average person don't get to walk into sometimes.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's behind the scenes and he's like tied in real deep.
Real deep.
Nice.
Deep as love.
On the
Nice.
scene.
Can you tell us a little bit about our guest today, Miss Kenya?
I'd be happy to, y'all. So I want to welcome Loove Moore to the Anything Can Happen
That's a hell of a
show
name.
today. It truly is, and I want to know a little bit of the story behind that name.
We're going to talk about it.
We're gonna talk about it. So Loove Moore is from Earth, y'all. He's super creative. Love is his natural resource.
Mm.
I love that.
That's
He's
beautiful.
open-minded, and he's more being human than he is a human being. And that's all I'm going to tell y'all about this gentleman, because I want him to tell us what's up, what are these doors that he can get into that the average person cannot. What is he doing, and why is love his natural resource? I want to know
Right.
all about it. Thank you. Welcome, Loove Moore, to the show.
Welcome. Come on.
Yeah, I had to roll out.
Yeah.
Love More is officially in the building. So first and foremost, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing blessed, man. Just love. Like, I'm doing everything. Like, I'm feeling all of my emotions.
Wow.
The good ones, the bad ones, the sad ones. So I'm here, fully present.
Really present. Much respect. Much respect.
Yes.
So let's start with the question I'm sure is on everybody's mind. Why Love More?
Mhm.
Love more, why love more? Let's just take that question first. You know, why to love more? Like, that's something that we see in this world that we need to do is love more, because, we just balancing out the negative or like the not so good experiences in life. We want to love more. But my name, I was born Rio Allen Moore Jr. That's my dad's name.
Like Rio, the Rio Grande?
Like the Rio Grande, Uni
Mhm.
Grande,
Okay.
Mhm.
But Rio, like river, and it's Spanish. But born Rio Allen Moore Jr. My family called me AJ for Allen Jr. So a
Wow.
lot of my family, me as AJ, or just
Wow.
stuff.
So you got many names.
Yeah. And then my mom changed my name and like I don't know, she changed my name to Alan Jamal Moore, and then from there, like my family, my friends, they're still for the AJ, for
Mhm.
Alan Jamal, but
Yeah.
a lot of my friends just shortened my name, just start calling me Amo. It's like
Amo.
Amo.
The evolution.
You call me Amo, my brother, Chi-Town Jones, man, from Chicago. But Amo. But then I was soon to find out that Amo meant like te amo, or more, you know, and things like that. So like it basically was like a translation. It was like, oh, yeah, it basically means love.
I love it.
You know,
Wow.
That's my name. My name is Moore. That's my name. So Loove Moore.
That's
That's
cool.
incredible. How long you been going by Loove Moore?
I mean, specifically Loove Moore, yeah. Maybe, I don't know, 6, 7, 8. I don't know, 6,
Long
7,
time.
A bit.
Long
Long
enough.
while, you
A
know.
bit, yes.
You know what's so interesting? You are the first artist that we've had on this show. Like everybody else has been like business owners, entrepreneurs, stuff like this. You are the very.
Shakers.
So I know today is going to be a very legendary.
I'm that too, though, for sure.
But one of my questions is for the viewers that may not know you, where were you born and raised at?
So I was born in Casa Permanente, downtown Oakland.
Wow.
You feel me? And then
One and only.
moved to like West Oakland, Acorn, you know,
Oh.
10th Street.
Because this don't look like for the person, you know, from Oakland, from the Bay, like you have your own kind of swag to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if somebody asked me just by your look where you were from, I would say like Berkeley or something like that, but not the Acorn. Like that's like,
Yeah.
you know, can you tell us a little bit how you got your individuality, like growing up in that area?
I mean, well, for me, so just being an Acorn, it was just, you know, just being young, like, shit, there was a lot of stuff going on. Don't get me wrong, I see a lot of domestic violence and stuff. That's kind of what got me into making music. Like, I used to see my, like, family members fighting at night, you know, just getting drunk and, like, you know, maybe just self-medicating or whatever and just getting into these issues with each other. And then that night I try to break it up, like, no, stop. And they was not like, they wouldn't do it. But then the next morning, it's a nice bright day, you know, everybody cleaned up all that, and you just hear every other city we go. I see it. You see everybody
was
like,
partying and rocking.
they give something like that. This right here is making them feel how I wanted to make them feel last night, but I couldn't. So I started looking towards music more in that way. But like that was just growing up then, like being younger. Then I moved to San Leandro. I went to McKinley from like 1st to 5th grade, and you know, then from there I moved to Tracy. I went to Tracy High. And Tracy was cool. But that whole time, I think for me, embracing my individuality and stuff like that was from Camp Mendocino. It was this camp called Camp Mendocino.
Hey, that was legendary.
Yeah, okay, you know
Camp
what I mean?
Mendocino, man, I never personally got to go, but so many of my friends, and they'd be like, "Cuz you got to get to camp in the summertime." Like, it goes down.
I just sent them a message on Instagram. I see them posting pictures of like the staff up there, like, you know, I'm like,
they still got it going.
Yeah, camp is still going. It's going through an evolution and changes and stuff like that. But like ultimately, it's still through the San Francisco Boys and Girls Club. And just imagine going to the Boys and Girls Club, just regular like inner city. You know, everybody there.
Everybody from the hood up there.
Everybody from everywhere. And then this is a camp. So now y'all out in the woods, like swimming and bows and arrows. That's archery. Getting on horses and the rock climbing and going on hikes, water hikes, catching snakes and frogs and seeing raccoons and skunks and ring-tailed cats and foxes. And
I didn't even know they had a camp up there. Mendocino is one of my favorite places, and me and my husband's kind of favorite like place to go for like romantic getaways and stuff. But I would love to look into that for my child if it still exists.
You probably got on that skunk train. Like from Willits to
I have not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I do think my kid has been on that train.
But you know what
it
is, that train goes directly through camp. So I remember I got like best camper at camp one year, and with that I was able to. That like you at camp for 2 weeks, no McDonald's, no none of that.
McDonald's? You got camp food.
You got all camp, but camp food is be smacking me. I go lie. That's a whole nother thing. But when you win best camper, basically you can go into the city, ride the skunk train into the city. So I seen like Willits and Fort Bragg and like the different cities around that area.
Fort Bragg.
Well, what's the skunk train? What does that mean?
It's an actual train, but it's just called the skunk train. I guess that's just maybe
so it doesn't stink or nothing like that.
Man,
well, thank goodness. I hope I didn't get that report back from my kid. So
I mean, with all this displacement, you never know. Like I'm in Tracy yesterday, and it's tents and stuff out there, so it might be tents and people living on the train now. Who knows? You know, it's pushing out more and more from the inner city to like the outskirty cities. You know, really homeless and stuff.
That's incredible, but that's great. So obviously you're an artist, and you know you have your own style, you have your own vision. But what do you do outside of just creating art or creating in general?
I mean, so the thing with me is that it's the message. Like I said, I'm making music to make my family feel good, like because there was domestic violence. You know, I'm trying to. These are mediums. They're it's the doorway from one realm to another. You know, so yeah, just the main message is what we living for and what we see that's in this world. You know, and being brave enough to do it. A lot of people like to speak on it. You know, the president could do this and he should do that, but it's like they're doing the most that they could do. Obviously, that's something that your vision that you can see. So you need to put the work in to get to that position, and then do that vision that you see.
Well, that's a bigger message too, because exactly like you said, even with the last administration, all you hear about is people saying, "Why not this? Why so and so didn't do that?" Or when
nobody points the finger at themselves.
That's absolutely right. Because even like when it comes to voting, well, it's not going to do no good, no way, and I'm not going to do nothing. I'm just going to sit over here and be me. And instead of doing that, you took your thing from what you saw as a child and what you saw as a child that was effective in your home, right? To bring up the vibration in your home and with your people. And you decided to take that because did you know you had a natural talent for music then, or were you just thinking, what can I do to raise up my family?
I was just gifted. Like I could always do things. Like I've always just been able to do things. And in my life, I had to challenge that. Like I had to just. It was just one. So I went to when I moved out to Tracy. I was at a school, and at this school I had to meet new people. So my sister's 4 years older than me. So I only went to school with her in first grade. She was in fifth grade. After that, I was in school by myself. So I had to learn how to be a good judge of character on my own. And so going to this school, basically, I met this friend, and he was cool. Like he was cool. Like he showed me around school, like going to like this is volleyball over here. You know, this is this. Like showing me at recess. And then it was like, okay, now we're gonna race. I've been cool. I made a new friend. I loved it, you know. But now it's like you got to race, and they're trying to make us race, and I'm like, I don't really want to race, but they like race, and I'm like, all right. And I raced, and I beat them. Now I was the fastest person at the school. At my old school, I wasn't the fastest at school because there was this girl that was faster than me. I had to bring my big cousin up there to race her and beat her. Shout out to DT, man. Like I had to bring him up there to race her and beat her just so I couldn't be like she beat me. But at this new school, I was gifted. Like that was that. But I didn't even care about running. I just was trying to participate with my community. They always wanted to do it. But from there, that brother was not cool with me no more. He just was shutting me off.
Yeah, you took his placement in that community. You know what I'm saying? Like he was known as the fast kid. He was known as probably the most athletic. And then you came and then took his identity. And it's like, now who am I?
Man,
probably felt lost.
And with that started me on a journey to like dim my light for a long time in life.
Wow.
And I always did that. Like I always felt like I was the underdog with top dog qualities. You know, like
I like that.
I just always
say that again. Say that again.
I just always felt like I was the underdog with top dog qualities.
Wow.
You know, and so I just always would kind of like just held myself back and did my light. So I mean, guess till recently, like where I
you know what's funny? I have something similar. Like when I was a kid, right? I was always like bigger and stronger than a lot of the kids. So when I was a kid playing with other kids, they would fall, start crying, be hurt, and stuff like that, and it made me not want to like be as strong around other kids because I felt like I was always hurting. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, like being rough with them because I grew up with an older brother, my dad, all that kind of stuff. So they taught me to be rougher. And then when it came time to do it with kids or people my age, it was too much for them. So it made me like back off. So I definitely feel where you're coming from. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like certain things we experience in life that sometimes you take it as a negative when it's actually your gift. And then you don't fully pursue it at a certain time in your life.
Right. Well, there's a lot of that when it comes to just our society's kind of push on us to keep other people comfortable. So, to make sure that we don't make other people feel bad. And so often we do that. Like, we have our gifts, we know we have our gifts, but if we shine our light, that's gonna make some
You're
of the
showing
people
off.
around. Right. Oh my gosh.
Showing off.
You're showing off.
Why are you doing too
You're
much?
boastful.
Yeah.
All of these negative things instead of saying
Instead of
to yourself,
congratulating you, giving
these
you
are
roses.
my gifts from God. This is what I was given. And there's a purpose, right? There's a greater purpose than you just wallowing in your own gifts.
Yeah.
I got the perfect story for y'all for this. This is how I learned. So it's two things. So with Coda, like since from that time, I started going to this group therapy called Coda. It's like a 12-step for codependency, and I really dove into that, and it was like really healing for me, and it gave me skills to like feel my feelings, identify my feelings, feel them, be able to vocalize my feelings. Things like that nature. So Coda is good if you ever want to do that. Like you don't have like money. So Coda, CODA. If you want therapy and you feel like you don't have the money or things like that, you can go to coda.org and find a group close to you, wherever you're at.
It's a national thing.
Yeah, it's pretty national. They have like big conventions and stuff
Shout
like
out
that.
to Coda.
Yes,
It's a
to
12 step.
mental health.
12 step is
Yes.
big. 12 steps are big. They have like 12 steps for everything, recovering couples
They
and
sure
animals. Like it's wild. But so that's the first thing. So now like that kind of built me more to have self-value and my identity and I always knew myself. I already knew who I was, but I was conflicting with everybody for being so different. So it was just like I had to really learn and like to be in balance and have a symbiotic relationship with life and with my surroundings and the people around me.
Yeah.
But this is the story. So my bro Sagi. So Sagi, his dad. So Sagi is a wild boy, and it's like I was around him and his parents because we got this song and project we're working on, and so his parents is there, and this girl he talked to, and they just there. So we kind of like. He's still being him in front of them. So this is my first time kind of meeting them, but he's still being wild, like oh, and they're not turning him down at all. Like it's just to observe that, like him and his mom and dad together, and him being just his full self basically, and them just not like they, people could be like, come on, don't be like, if you say something rude, they'll be like, oh, don't say that, you're not supposed to do that, but they like it's just good. And basically from it, they start talking about his dad tells his story. His dad was just like, there was this famous person, and she went to a restaurant overseas, and she got food. When she ate the food, she was wild and was like, "Wow, what is this food? This is the best food I ever tasted. Get the cook and give me the recipe." So she went to the cook, and he gave her the recipe word for word, like everything. It's like, "Is this it? You sure?" He's like, "Yes." He's like, "Yes." So she like, "All right." Went back home, cooked the meal for everybody, and everybody tasted it. She's like, they weren't wild the same way. and then she ate something. She's like, I'm not wild the same way. She like called the man back, like, did you lie to me? Like, why did you give me this? Not tell me the real recipe? Like, you just could have, He's like, I did tell you.
You could have just kept it real.
Feeling that way. But he's like, I did. I told you everything, word for word, like everything. He was like, oh, but when I cook, I put myself into it. So he's like. It's like when people say, put your foot in it. So now at this moment, like, Asagi and his mom, like, is ad-libbing in the back. They talking, see, like, his mom, they're like, yeah, just like Dolly Parton. And they like, yeah, like when Whitney Houston singing it, and I will love you. Like, it's the same song, but she put herself into it. And it was like, so it started coming full circle on hearing them talk about it. And then it just like, she was like, yeah, so when you cook it, it's not going to taste like mine. But if you put yourself into it, I'm pretty sure you'll have your own little.
Still be good.
You'll have your own twist.
So what he said from there, he said this. He said, "You always got to remember, you're the main ingredient. You're the main ingredient." So basically, it's just like if this is your life. If you wanna, you're not getting out what you want out of it. You need to, either put a little bit more into it, take a little out. You don't want to over salty. Don't put salt in the game. But it's up to you. What you put into it is what you're gonna get out of it. Because you're the main ingredient. So that's where I could root my confidence in. It's just like
because we love Dolly's version and we love Whitney's version.
Yeah.
Right now I could remember. Oh, I was gonna say right now I could remember the moment where I stopped caring about what other people thought.
Ooh, really?
Story time.
Wow.
And it was an incident that happened my freshman year in high school, right? Where I was dating this girl. I didn't really want to date her in the first place, but I was like, man, this is high school. She asked me type thing. And I was like, all right, cool. My first little high school girlfriend, whatever. Right. We ended up breaking up like within a week's time. But then so many people started ganging up on me because of the breakup and different stuff. And at that moment, I was like, man, forget all these people. I'm going to do what I want to do. Right. And once I took that attitude, like I took it into all aspects of my life. Like I'm just going to do what I want to do. I don't care what nobody thinks.
Because we only have one life to live.
And people thought I was like rebellious. You know what I'm saying? But I was just doing things that I felt in the moment as a kid, as a teenager. And some people either liked it, they loved it because I was so just me. And some people just hated it because they saw me being so free. And they couldn't find that freedom within themselves.
Absolutely.
So they despised it. They was like, oh, look at him trying to show out, do this, do that. And I'm like, no, I'm just being me. Like, why are you tripping off of me?
Isn't that a quality, though, Kat, that a lot of entrepreneurs end up having?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
You know, because as entrepreneurs, we all know this, that we do have to step outside of the proposed box or the expectations of our communities, our families, our friends, and things like that. And so we do, just as entrepreneurs, have to be like, well, I don't care what other people think. Yeah. I'm going to have to get out there because I know that that's what happened in my family. Like people were like, ooh, there goes my phone. Dropping on the floor, y'all. People were like, oh my God, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that. And even as an artist myself, same thing. You know, I grew up a ballet dancer and I'm a singer and all this other stuff. And it's just not always, people are, like Kat just said, people do get so uncomfortable with things that they don't feel brave enough to do themselves, you know?
Yeah. And that, go ahead. Okay, so I wanted to ask in terms of how you just feeding off of, you know, shining your light and going through these experiences that help you to grow into the person that you are, right? If somebody asked you, how would you describe Loove Moore? Who is Loove Moore?
Like you said in the intro, like I'm more being human than I'm a human being, you know. Like I recognize that I'm a spirit, you know. That I'm from Source. I'm part of Source, you know. We multi-dimensional beings. Just having that awareness and that bravery to live in my purpose.
Can you talk a little bit more about the multidimensional beings? Because I love that, you know, as a yoga teacher and just like always kind of I'm a spiritual writer and stuff. Let's always talk about things like that. Could you be a little bit more specific with the people? Tell the people what you mean by that. Because I agree with you. I think we are all multidimensional beings, and I think that that there are some people in our audience, our listening audience, that may not fully understand what you mean.
Okay, so what I mean by multidimensional beings, that means that we have many dimensions to us, you know, to where you can comprehend, like when they say like there's at least two sides of a story, you know, that's like the fundamental of like mental, being mentally in different dimensional, you know, not thinking one dimensional, you can see other sides of things, but in general, with us being multidimensional beings, like so like certain things don't mix. You can't mix fear and faith. They don't mix. It's like water and oil. So those are different dimensions. When you live in a fearful state, that's one dimension that you're gonna experience things that come with that. Just like the dark. You're in the same room, but if you turn the lights off, you're in the dark. You know, and that's a state of being, but you're in the same space, and it has different rules and regulations that come with being on that certain frequency, you know. So that's what being a multidimensional being is. It's like, you know, it's like that thing when one person sees a car, you know, you didn't, somebody buys a car and now you see that car everywhere you see it, everywhere you go now, because you tapped into that frequency. That's the dimension that you just tapped into. You're able to see that now.
But even on a deeper level, like us being from Source and one with Source, like we're just, what was that? It was like a Disney movie or I think it just came out. It was like a little girl and she had all these different personality traits in her head.
Inside Out or something.
Talk about the
Inside Out?
Inside Out, I think.
Is it Inside Out? Yep, that's the one I'm thinking
Okay.
of. Like
Right.
Inside Out, like this little girl,
Yeah.
she had all these different emotions inside of her,
Oh yes,
Right?
yes. That was good.
It's
different
good,
characteristics,
yeah.
right? But thinking about it from a standpoint, like even in this space, right? If we're all part of Source, we're all one part of Source. We're just all different aspects of the same thing right here,
Yeah.
sharing with each other. You know what I'm saying? Sharing our views and everything, and taking what we need to move forward in our journey if we allow ourselves to be open enough to receive that message in that moment.
Yeah. See, that right there is like metaphysics to me. That's the dimension of like fifth, somewhere between fifth and sixth dimension. Basically, it's like just like we have cells in our body that's just living beings, and then we makes us. You feel me? Like we're doing that same thing. Like, and it just on a macro and micro level, and so I look at that as like metaphysics, where like our eyes look like galaxies. If you look at it, look like a galaxy, but we're in a galaxy. So it's like that Men in Black where they open up the locker, but you're in the locker type vibe.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. Like, I mean, I can swing even talking about the Loove Moore show. I think that's what it's about. Like the Truman Show type vibe. We all have our devices, and we all have our own little show, our own station that we are like doing what a full TV show is doing, like individually, and people are tuning into it. And I think that on the Loove Moore show, for me, I like to broadcast just organic things, like not super edited and this. Like, let me give you like those doors,
into my life.
Like these places you can't go. Like, I'll be chilling with like passing out food with LDs to the homeless people, and then now then be out there with CeeLo, chilling at the thing, like in
CeeLo, like CeeLo Green.
we're chilling with C like that, like, and these are just situations that I'm in, but like these are just experiences based on my values and how I value life, and being a representation of what Spirit wants it to be,
But I think what's so huge is what you represent is love, right? And the frequency of love is one of the highest frequencies there is. So as much love that you put into the world, you're going to receive back.
That's what I'm learning how to do, because I'm better. I can't give love more than I can receive it. So that's what I like. For right now, I'm fasting from society.
That was one of my lessons.
So like right now, I'm fasting from society. I'm not like like you can fast from food and things like that. I think so I ask myself, like, what's the difference between fasting and starving? Like, what's the difference? Like, you just so broke that you can't get yourself food versus like I'm fasting. And like you said, the intention, like, when you're so broke that you can't eat, you have to learn how to be resourceful. You have this in this state and moment, you're going without, so you're learning how to get food and fend for yourself, But then once you do that and learn how to survive, that's when we can eat so much that we can be gluttonous and just be overdoing it, Like we try, like we in survival mode, but it's like you don't need to eat like that. So then we have to learn how to fast and go without, and in there we learn discipline and. There's a lot of things about ourselves, it's a different type of way there. And I think I'm doing the same thing with society. Like, I was doing that first, and just, not chasing the money, letting the money chase me type vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Because
let the money work for you too.
Yeah,
Don't work for the money.
And just not seeing as the value system. Like, let's see other things in life. What if money was gone, what would be the next things that we value? And I think that because we leverage money for a lot of things. Like, I don't want to be so talented. I got money, like I don't have to be that. I don't have to be that talented. I'm rich, So.
Yeah, I saw these people. I can't remember that. Oh man, on YouTube yesterday. It's these two Caucasian boys. These
Island boys.
Thank you.
And
I just saw them for the first time yesterday.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not trying to knock somebody's hustle, okay? But one of the island boys was in a conversation. He was in a conversation with the teacher, and what he said because the teacher, I guess, was trying to get into some more deep conversation with him about right. So, but again, I've never seen these people before in my life, and what this young man said was, well, I'm 20 years old and I have a Rolex. Are you 20 years old with a Rolex? And the teacher was like, what? Because the value that, for him, the value was all about money.
That's what he was saying.
Absolutely about money. And then he didn't care about nothing else, and so I hear exactly what you're saying. It's like, is your purpose on this planet to get a watch? Or is your purpose on this planet to do something a little bit bigger than getting a watch?
Yeah, it's just our imagination, like I think that right now we are living in other people's imagination, and it's time for us to live in our own and participate in and bring our visions of how we see this society and life to be lived. Yeah. It's just that time. We just got to be brave enough to do it because
when did you become brave enough to do
it? I'm still becoming brave, like it's always a gradual thing. It's like success. When you brush your teeth, you got to keep doing it for it to be successful. It's not like you do it one time, you work out one time, and it just happens. It's like it's that type of thing, And so
you're talking cat's language over there. I worked out once. How come I'm not? How come it's not? I don't have it all together now. Yeah. Where are my muscles at?
Cat, you make it look so easy. I've been doing it for 7 years.
Right.
You put that energy in, and that's basically what it is. And I think putting that time in with faith, going off faith, not sight. Like God put me in so many situations to where it's like, no, trust me. Like there's a difference. One thing is believing in God. Then there's believing that there is a God is one thing. Believing in God is another thing. Oh. I could believe that there is a cat, but do I believe in cat? You feel me?
Right.
And that's the whole thing. Like
we're gonna tap into that a little bit.
Oh yes,
because you was going.
Yeah.
So real quick, you're listening to KGBC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show, and we're going to take a quick music break.
Nice.
Make sure that
turn that up, Ricky.
This thing, make sure it don't go to sleep. Tell me that you love me without telling me. Yeah. Tell me that you love me without telling me. I said the way that you inspire me. You said the way that I be under. You said you love me, but you rather be my rider. Yeah.
It makes that popping noise when I do that. That's when you hear that boom. Yeah, so that's why I do it, but I memorize where everything goes.
I know you got your paper like the mailbox. You know I see right through you like it's sealed. Apparently you keep it.
Loving this conversation.
The ball that take no steps and kill on meal size. Don't know how to act like she killed him still. But I am the one that keep it honest and real. You wanna get closer, then you gotta reveal when it's real. Hey, tell me that you love me without telling me. I said the way that you inspire me. You love the way that I be under. You said you love me, but you rather be my rider. Yeah. I was like, what that mean? Hey, I been in them things. I be loving the way you think. Hey, be loving the way you be. Loving the way you think. I be loving the way you think. Tell me that you love me without telling me. I can tell the way that you inspire me. You love the way that I be under. You said you love me, but you rather be my rider. Yeah. I was like, what that mean? Hey, I been in them things. I be loving the way you think. Be loving the way you be. Loving the way you think. I be loving the way you think. Tell me that you love me, that you love me. I can tell you wanna be a fun of me. We can make together personality. So what's on your mind, ain't gotta be beside me. I love the way your body moves. I'm on my way, and it can be hiding. I want to find it. Tell me, baby, where can I find it? Tell me that you love me without telling me. I can tell the way that you inspire me. You love the way that I be under. You said you love me, but you rather be my rider. Yeah. I was like, what that mean? I been in the jeans. I be loving the way you think. Be loving the way you be. Loving the way you think. I be loving the way you think. Living that you love me without telling me. I can tell the way that you inspire me. You love the way that I be under. You said you love me, but you rather be my rider, yeah. I'm not what that means. I feel energy. I be loving the way you think. Be loving the way you be. Loving the way you think. I be loving the way you think.
Wow.
Come on. What's up, y'all? Hey. You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Kenya Asa, Quezzy Dreams, and your man, Cat Business.
Yes.
We got the brother Loove Moore in the building.
On love.
Can you tell us the name of that song and what inspired it real quick?
That song is called Without Telling Me. And I think just my relationships and just thinking about having conversations. You know, I think the line that stands out the most is tell me that you love me without telling me.
Yeah.
And I think that I feel like the best songs in life is confusing. Like I'd be like, the song seems like that was confused or something. Like it's like working out an issue or a problem or something.
It's a Prince song.
You know, but it's like, tell me that you love me without telling me. Like, you know, technically in life, you're supposed to communicate. You know, like tell me that you love me. You know, but the expression is that's the thing that we be wanting. Like we want people to know. Like you should just know that how I'm feeling and where I'm at. I just want to have so much of a connection and a vibration with you that you tell me that you love me and you show me. And just think of Marsha Chappelle, she had show me the book, the 5 love languages. And
oh wow,
oh yes,
yeah, just being fluid in them. You know, like some people like touch, some people like acts of affirmation, some people like
acts of
service, and, you know, and things of that nature. So it's like just being aware of all those aspects of love. You know, how people want to be loved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you want to be loved?
I want to be loved. I think it's acceptance. I just want to be my full self and be accepted for it. You know, like I'm not gonna be. You know, I ain't perfect yet. You feel me? And that's just my energy. And just we accept each other, because I think with family, like with different relationships, we do it. Like with family, we'll always get over it because you know you're gonna see them at a funeral or like a wedding, or you're gonna always see them. So it's just like, you know, you just always forgive them. You know, you give them more chances than you'll give somebody that's in your tribe that you done met, that God done put in your life. And we just dismiss them fast because we feel like, oh, well, most relationships kind of seem like right when they can hit it off at the beginning, but right when the relationship kind of has its first bump to where it's just like, you made me feel a way I didn't want to feel. It's like, oh no, this doesn't serve me anymore. I have to, you know.
You know why? Because I think it's a lesson that we are all learning is unconditional love. Wow. Yeah. Unconditional love. I love you regardless of whatever you do in this moment, however you want to be. And I allow you to do and make the mistakes that you're going to make because we're all humans and none of us are perfect. But I can still love you in this moment.
But what if you can't though? What if you can't? What if? And it's just me playing devil's advocate. What if you don't want to love somebody unconditionally? What if you have loved somebody and it just isn't working, or they're consistently treating you in a way that you don't want to be treated, that makes you feel horrible? And so then do you continue to unconditionally love that person, just throw yourself under the bus over and over again?
I think it's more about loving people, but also loving yourself. Mm-hmm. And I feel like most people don't have, and also speaking for myself,
loving yourself
it can be difficult to love yourself to even know what that means, what that looks like. But I definitely, I hear what you're saying.
That was the core of it. Yeah, y'all said it with the loving yourself unconditionally. Like we only can love people to the capacity that we can love ourselves.
And we often will give other people, like you were saying about family, right? We'll give other people more chances than we will give ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, because I know so many people, I know y'all do too, who have made mistakes in their lives, made mistakes that they really made mistakes that they really regret. And then when it when it really comes time to forgive themselves, they struggle with that because of the guilt or whatever, without realizing that we're not really here, and this is just my opinion, we're not really here to keep kicking ourselves in the teeth. We're here to learn. We're on this planet to we're on this planet to love, we're on this planet to learn. And loving yourself and forgiving yourself for your trespasses.
Yeah. Love Moore, can you speak on that for our audience? Like, what have you done in order to learn to forgive yourself, to allow yourself to be yourself, love yourself unconditionally?
Give yourself
Yeah,
grace.
so I was gonna say Coda. So Coda was a big part of that. Like I always could do things by myself. Like I always like self-taught, like a lot of things with music and just art, a lot of things, just life, a lot of things in life.
I remember I ran
we're the first generation, a lot of stuff.
But you know, it's interesting. I remember when you grabbed that camera and you was starting to walk around with your camera and everything, like, and you was like, yeah, I'm learning how to edit. I'm learning how to put videos together. I'm like, that's what's up. He was like, yeah, we gotta link up and do something one day. I was like, heck yeah. And the next thing I know, you doing like your Loove Moore show. Like you documenting all this stuff. I'm like, cuz we're just talking about just picking up this camera and learning how to edit. And you just did it.
That's incredible.
Like a lot of people, they say it, but they don't do it. They don't take the action.
That's one of my superpowers.
Yeah.
Like but it's a gift and a curse too, because at first I would do it, and like just to do it and get into it is cool. But then at one point it kind of seemed like, right when I bring something up, people will be like, oh no, don't, they'll react to it as if it's already gonna happen. So at first, like I had to it's a story of my uncle. Like basically I was showing him my music and stuff. He's like, man, this music cool, but you ain't messing with my nephew, this other person. Well, he like stunned on me, he's just trying to be OG talking stuff. So he used to always act like that towards me. Then eventually I gave him a CD where he's riding around and people like, hey, OG, what song is that? That's knocking. That's cool. He like, oh, that's my nephew. Oh, now he calling me like, hey, nephew.
Somebody else had a co-sign.
Hey, nephew, man.
Different scene.
He like, hey, nephew, man. Now I'm gonna be the security guard, man. This and that. So his like conversation changed and switched towards me, based on that experience. But
Wow.
yeah, but Coda was the thing. Coda really helped me get the tools to identify my emotions, things of that nature, heal my past resentments, learn about denial patterns. And
that's super real. That's super real. And I want to ask you, like, what gave you the courage to even pursue that? Because I know we're black men. Like, black men in this country don't have many opportunities, I believe, to express ourselves in a safe space. Right? Sometimes even in our relationships. But what gave you the courage to reach out and get that help?
I mean, for me, I'm always about self-improvement. That's the thing, And with self-improvement, I reached a bump. I reached this is my plateau. I'm plateauing at anything I could do. And I knew I needed help to reach that next level of my own self-development. And being in a relationship, I learned about what's it called, narcissists and those type of things, and narcissistic codependence, like being a cracked pot, like they just perfect match for each other type vibe. And there's a lot of things just started circulating, and just dealing with, like I said, like the domestic violence, all that type of stuff. Like just they have Al-Anon, which is like a codependent. It's like an AA group for the family of so the people that need support, that you don't do drugs, but you deal with people that do drugs. There's a support group for them, and so going there, I just.
Is that the one you told me that one time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you about Al-Anon. That's right.
It's nice. So I was going to one in so I went there to one place in Berkeley, El Cerrito, something like that, and it was just all older white women. If it might have been 2 or 3 dudes, and I was one of them every time. So, and I'm the only one looking like me coming in just like me.
That's correct.
So that's just what Kwesi was talking about. Is that even something like Al-Anon or AA or NA, Narcotics Anonymous, you don't often see Black people and even other people of color. You don't see a whole lot of that. For a variety of reasons, and one of those reasons I do have to say is that we're not often in places and spaces where somebody is telling us, or maybe making us or forcing us, like you're in rehab or something like that, or you're trying to get your kids back, and so then you'll go do this or whatever. But we're not often in these spaces where somebody will encourage us to go get that kind of mental help or group, like things like Al-Anon and AA. Those types of things are more like a group help situation, right?
Yeah.
So we're not always getting the kind of support that maybe other cultures would get.
I mean, yeah. So I think it starts with us being brave. Like, so just coming up as everybody in society, we want to stand out. People stand out. You know, somebody's tall, big, you know, whatever. Everybody talk about everybody. But at certain points, people like to blend in. They don't want to stand out. Everybody wearing Jordans, I'm wearing Jordans. Everybody's doing whatever.
Safe.
I want to feel safe in the crowd. If I stand out, I'm going to take what comes with standing out.
Yeah.
So I think that at one point, like, you know, just not keeping up with the Joneses, basically. Like, I'm not trying to keep up with the Joneses. I'm on my own path because I see it. I see the vision. It's kind of like you said with yourself. Like, it's like I don't want to build resentment for nobody else if I'm choosing their path over mine. So, you know, so just doing that. Yes. So just having that bravery first and putting that towards my self-development, always trying to improve myself and knowing that I'm more about imploding and exploding. Everybody want to be like, you going to blow up, bro. You this. It's like, nah, like, I want to be more potent. So when I come in somewhere, like, I'm me. Like, it's potent and it's effective.
No, that's
you
powerful.
know? So more than just like, because of some hoop, like the name like or whatever.
Wonder,
yeah, you know, like just because of the allure, I'm gonna give you the credit. I'm like, no, I'm willing to prove myself every single day that, I could prove myself every single day that I'm willing to, you know, I'll get out on the court every day, or I'll be in the boardroom every day, and like I'll show it. I don't want to rely on my CEO name or things like that.
So
that's powerful.
But now.
So I know off air we were talking a little bit about this, like you were talking about mind, body, and spirit, right? So what do you do from a physical aspect to keep yourself well-rounded? Is there any like certain, like you go hoop, you work out? Do you do anything from that component to make sure that you have balance within your journey?
Yeah. So physically, I think like fasting was something like with just like refraining from eating like intermittent fasting, like maybe like sun up to sundown.
Okay, so you do like day-to-day fasting. You ever do like week-long fasts or Daniel?
Well, I did like a month, so instead from sun up to sundown, like I wouldn't eat until sunset. Then I eat, but just going to work out, like it just when you trust your body, your body will tell you what to do. So you just kind of like get in your body and just like listen to it and try to like, because once you get the toxins out, like basically like food and parasites or whatever, your body is trying to run off that. So once you get that out of the system, now your body is moving off of is more intelligent.
So from detoxing, what is the biggest thing that you've noticed through that part of your journey?
With detoxing, I think it just removes things from you that's no longer serving you. You don't need this anymore. Like it got you so far, but now it's about the density and being multi-dimensional being. So like if you have water and oil in a cup, the oil will always rise to the top. So that means that it's less dense. That means it can float. It can move through that dimension. So like when the water's in the cup, you got water, then you got the oil, then you have air. So like if you want to get to the air, that means you have to be less dense. You can't be holding on like a rock. You have to be less dense. So that's when you that's what detoxing from things does. It like gets things out away from you that helps you shift through the realms.
Yeah, and I definitely want to come back to that, but I have a random question, a little bit off topic, but very relevant right now. What is your take on the Will Smith situation? Well, Will Smith and Chris Rock, I should say.
I mean, really, I could give it like some funny sneak food. I'm not gonna tell like that, but
well, whatever
really,
you got,
keep it real. I don't care who nobody having sex with, So like, I don't care like if like whatever genders and all that type of stuff. I don't really be tripping off of that. But and when it comes to people relationship, but I know with them, they are pushing the boundaries of being open and expressing and sharing and being vulnerable. And they're taking a lot of hits for that, whether they right or wrong. Like what they ultimately doing is being vulnerable, and so with him doing that, I feel like he's just reaching his breaking point because Will Smith, they grew up in that time where like Michael Jackson and Beyonce and them, where they put this mystique on, like they have to put this character on and be that, like a Disney kid, like where you can't have mistakes. No mistakes, and they challenging that now. You want to show more sides of yourself, they cussing. You know, first they didn't even cuss. You know, now they
The
cuss.
Oscars.
You know, so
At the Oscars.
you know, so now he's just doing that. You know, just it was just a breaking point. I feel like it was just more like let me
Like
just.
showing himself more like human.
It was
You
just
know what
he was just on some like let me just make an example out of this bruh.
Real
I can
quick.
make an example out of it, so let everybody know. This ain't even about you. This about everybody. That's what I need to do.
The media.
Cause I'm in West Philadelphia, born and raised. Making sure you know, like.
He's like, yeah. So, but I mean, you know, there's so much. I have vowed to myself. Maybe I didn't vow to myself. Maybe that's a lie. To not talk about this subject anymore because I literally spent half the day talking about it yesterday with my husband.
It just happened on Sunday.
I know,
We
but
got at least a week.
No, I'm
Man,
over it
we had the
already.
moment.
But that being said, I'm still going to comment because like a lot of people are like, oh, you know, he should never put his hands on anybody.
Yeah.
You should
Yeah,
never.
there's a lot of countries in war right
Violence is never the answer. You know, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have some people saying that. Then you have, you know, I think that the opinions are really divided amongst demographics, even black men and black women, and white people for sure. Like,
it's all these different
We're
topics.
not worried about their
It's
opinions
about
right
protecting.
now.
It's about protecting black
It's
women.
in-house.
It's like these different topics. A lot of times when we have conversations, we stack a lot of different topics and subjects.
Yes.
And like, you know, points
Sensitive ones too.
in one sentence. You know,
Yes.
so like ultimately, some people want to argue the fact, you know, like, hey, black man on black man, you know, or don't think you got to show off for the masses.
Right.
You know, don't think that you got to uphold some type of image for the masses.
To keep your wife in line.
You know, or protect
things.
black women. And that's one thing I want to speak on now. Like, I think we do need to do that because we are leaders. Ultimately, like, women are
When
our
you say
foundation.
who you talking about?
Us, like black people, us, all of us, like people in general, everyone. We should see the dynamics. We should be aware of women nature and men nature, feminine energy, masculine
that's
energy.
a whole nother show.
Like we should be aware of that. And but ultimately, like, yeah, women don't feel safe around us, and they feel like they have to be in a strong black woman, a strong, you know, they feel like they got to do that, and that's like when we don't have to be when they say like toxic masculinity, that's like trying to feel like you scaring people. What's up? You really scared. You don't have to be like that to be, you know, like you could give somebody that look like I ain't playing. Like I don't gotta be loud and boastful. Like I'm serious. Yes. And I think that it is time for us to like just give more love to women, just off the strength, because we do a lot of, you know, women ain't this but this and that, you know, like we do a lot of that type of energy, and they do the same thing back too though. But ultimately we leaders, and just like as being black people, black men, whatever, it's like they said we kings and queens. Well, let's act like it then. Like we lead. Don't wait for somebody else to tell you what to do. Like start making the rules. Start building it block by block. Like I think that's what the time it is to really stand up, because, you know, us growing up, we don't have a lot of strong black man examples. We have like bro down the street, you know, that's doing what he can. He not Martin Luther King or nothing. You feel me? But you know, he's doing his best. Like, you know, he's getting by. You know, like you know, like a bro that be doing drugs show me work ethic, because I'm like, he just got out of jail. He did all this. He just got out, and it's in the morning, and he up earlier than anybody getting cans out the thing. So I'm like, oh wow, I don't know if I could do that. Like he might outwork me, you know. So like. It's those type of things, but that's not somebody living to their full potential, right? And letting God work through them in the most highest light. And I think that, you know, like we have Harriet Tubman. Since Harriet Tubman, we had strong women to do it, but it wasn't no Harry Tubman. It wasn't no man back there to say like he's the guy. I'm about to be him. So like I gotta put Denzel Washington together with Jay-Z, and you know, these people like take the good parts of them, Obama, you know, whatever, like, and try to take the good qualities and like build a bear man. You get what I mean? It's not just somebody I can say directly them. They're doing good, because if that was the case, the world would be different. All these people that got money, our world it'll affect the world in a different way. If everybody was living up to like being, they got all this money to change things, they would be changing things. So like when it comes to protecting women, like Nia Wilson, that was a young black girl that got killed at the We gotta stand up for it. If we can stand up for the block, we can stand up for us.
Yes.
Wow. All right, we gotta cut it there.
Thank you.
We
That was
stand up for the
beautiful.
block.
Thank
We
you.
stand up for us. Yeah, that was dope. Thank you, Loove Moore. So we're coming to a close, but now I wanted to ask you some financial questions. I'll ask you that off air. But this has been an incredible episode. Any last words that you want to share with our audience?
Yeah. Always remember, they may do it to you, but don't do it to yourself.
Hey, you gotta put that on a t-shirt.
All right, can you break that down a little bit?
Hey, let me see you break it down. Like she's saying,
Oh, so you mean like if they do something hurtful to you, that doesn't mean you have to hurt
they
yourself?
may do it to you, but don't do it to yourself. Whatever it is, it's like that's what metaphors are. You know, they give
you're an artist.
It's an artist. You look at it and you get what you want out of it. You know, so
Wow.
depending on the dimension you look at it, in the context and situation you're in, you're gonna see something different because that's the thing when it's a sphere. When you look at a different dimension, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Put that on the shirt for it. That was Cass' idea. Put that on the shirt. I'm gonna get one for sure. But that being said, where can the people find you?
They can find me, you know, in my scan. You know, just do your research. That's all I say. Because ultimately, I come from that era where you go get a CD and you try to look into it. Try to find stuff out. And I feel like if you really cared and you really want to know, you'll take the time. You can click a link. Everything is right there. So people that really want to take the time, they'll put the effort in and they'll see what's up with me.
Wow, you're just an artist all around. We love it, Loove Moore.
I'm a being. You feel me? I'm that first. Like I'm me. I feel like we can put it in an artist form. I feel like people do that. Me as a black man, I'm black. I'm from Acorn. Like you said, how my appearance is. Like no, I want to own up to those things. I don't want to be this new separate thing of an artist. Something else. No, I'm black. I'm me. Like this is who I am, man. You got to accept these as the new images of what black or what That's what it is.
Yeah, okay. Outstanding. So we definitely got to have you come back, Loove Moore. But for today, that is all, ladies and gentlemen, and others, everybody. Thank you for listening to our show, the Anything Can Happen show on KGPC 96.9. Follow us, like, comment, subscribe at ach.show on Instagram. That's at ach.show on Instagram. You can also catch us at kgpc969.org. Make sure you tune in every single Thursday at noon on Instagram, and also catch us on 96.9 FM. This has been the Anything Can Happen show. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Miggity. All right.
Ow.
Can we talk? Good job.
Wow.
Wow.
Brother.
Yes.
That's what we needed.
That was it, man.
That was man.
That was really great.
Oh yeah.
Peace. We got to get a drop from you real quick and take pictures and put it up on the website and everything.
So I'm
Oh man. Yeah, definitely a part 2 to that episode.
Yeah, for sure with it.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Once the flow went, oh man.
That was really good.
Yeah. It was right on point.
Yes.
Peace.
Did drop a lot of gems there.
Ah.
We had a lot to talk